Welcome back to another edition of the Night Report podcast. I'm your host, Mike Broadbent. Joining me once again is my co-host, Richie Schneiderite, and Rutgers beat reporter, Craig Epstein. Guys, we have a lot to go over today. We're going to do more of a recap of Rutgers' epic comeback win on homecoming over Michigan State to put us at 5-2. We're going to go over some of the bowl possibilities if Rutgers does qualify. And I think they have a really good shot this weekend to qualify for a bowl. We're also going to go over all things recruiting. We had a big visit weekend this weekend for the basketball program and the football program too. So a lot to cover there. But first off, now that we've had a couple days to kind of ruminate on this win, what's your guys' just general thoughts, macro level, micro level, about what this win meant, what your thoughts on the game were? Whoever wants to take it first, go for it.
Yeah, this is a bowl team. I don't think there's a question about it. I think they're definitely a bowl team. I think that they might even get to the 7-win mark, depending on that Iowa game is probably the only one I kind of see winnable. I know people are going to judge me for that because everyone thinks Maryland's winnable. They did have some struggles this week actually against Illinois, but I just think their offense is too tough. But hell of a comeback, like absolute insane comeback. I don't know if anyone really saw it coming. I know if you read our boards, people were like, hey, can you delete like threads or pages 2 through 3 on the game thread, please? Just so everyone doesn't see what I posted early on, not me specifically, but other posters. And they kept clawing back. They kept fighting back. Defense. It's, I thought they were done. I thought they were honestly done for when it was 24-6, and I was like, oh well, that's it. This game's over. It's wrapped up, and they proved me wrong. They came back and they fought like hell to come back too.
Yeah, I mean, like you said, I mean, once they went up 24-6, I kind of said to myself, yeah, I mean, this is probably over because, like I said in the Wisconsin game, this team falls behind by 3 scores. Like their offense is just not built to come back, from that type of deficit. Meanwhile, they did it in about 6 minutes. So what do I know? It's just crazy. It's crazy, honestly, how fast it happened because obviously it started with the punt the fumble with punt in the end zone. And Mike, I remember you mentioned on the postgame show, and I had the same exact thought where if Schiano didn't decide to re-kick, that whole comeback might not happen. But he decided to re-kick, and that's what led to it. It's just like it's just crazy to look back and look at all of the little things that go into a comeback like that. And Rutgers, they got, let's be honest, really lucky, but that's a season-saving win because, like you said, now 6 wins is back on the table because now they're facing Indiana, which we all think is a very winnable game, even in Indiana. So yeah, just get that win on Saturday, and you're going bowling, and everything after that is gravy, really, in my opinion.
Yeah, I think so much was weird about this game. Both teams kind of at times tried to give it away. Rutgers in the first half tried to give it away. Michigan State in the second half tried to give it away with turnovers mainly. I thought Gavin, even though his stats really won't indicate it, he was 13 of 28 for 181 yards, 1 touchdown, 2 interceptions, and he didn't really do much on the ground. I thought he probably had his best moments, like sustained moments. Like the first quarter was the best football he's played at Rutgers, like full stop. And then, he struggled through the middle part of the game. And then in the end, when we needed him, he had that touchdown drive, one of the best throws of his career to the back of the end zone to Isaiah Washington. I think he just needs to continue to kind of take those moments and those series that he looks excellent and kind of string those together and clump them into, now it's a half that he looked excellent. Now it's a full game. And that's when I think a lot of people will come around on him. He had his best adjusted completion percentage of the season, which if you don't know what adjusted completion percentage is, it's a stat PFF puts together where it factors in drops, it factors in throws when a quarterback is hit, it factors in spikes and throwaways, and those don't go towards completion percentage. So he had his best game of the season according to that metric. I think he completed about 73% of his passes. So he's shown some improvement. I just want to see it all put together. I thought a few guys on defense really stood out. Des Igbenuson is a guy that we've kind of given some flack for missed tackles and just generally looking lost out there sometimes. He had his best game as a Scarlet, and I feel he had 4 tackles for loss. He got a fumble recovery as well. Flip Dixon continues to really show out. I thought he had a few really nice plays. He's now the number 2 rated safety, according to PFF in the FBS. Robert Longerbeam is another guy I want to shout out. He was all over the field on Saturday. He had an interception that was thrown right to him that he dropped, but can't really blame him given the conditions. But he had that forced fumble. He was just all over. Tyreen Powell was also playing great before his kind of terrible ejection for targeting. Those are kind of my high-level thoughts. I thought there was a lot of guys. I was going to say,
shout out to Tyreen Powell for the great ejection play. It's just like so ridiculous. The target, I don't know what targeting has become. Like last year, it felt like they were just handing it out like candy. Now it's like, this is targeting when it's not. This is I mean, it's just Gavin gets his head clocked off of the turf, but the Wisconsin guy gets to stay in. But like this, and then even the drive, I think it was like the drive before when the Michigan State guy. I mean, I didn't think like it was a hard hit, and it was more worthy of targeting than what Powell did. Powell just made like if you're trying to make tape of how to like defend that, like that was executed perfectly. And for Powell to get ejected off that is just so ridiculous. It's just like I don't understand what this rule has become.
Yeah, Richie, you put up a tweet of side by side of that.
Yeah, if you look at them side by side, it's like, what's the difference? You really can't spot a difference between either play. I did want to say before we go any further, Matt Millen. I know a lot of people give him flack for his hatred, I guess, on Rutgers whenever he's calling a game, but he had some fucking crazy calls. He's like on the Isaiah Washington one where he hit the touchdown. He's like yelling. He's like, Dremel's open. He's open. Throw it. And he hits Washington in the corner end zone. And it's like, then the next one, he's like, calls Christian Dremel Hunter Renfro. He goes, that's Hunter Renfro. That looks exactly like him. And then he's like, who do you compare Tyreen to? Jadeveon Clowney? And I'm like, oh my God, dude, we are just very loose with these comparisons, aren't we?
Well, he said the hit reminded him of that Jadeveon Clowney hit in the bowl game against South Carolina 10 years ago.
That Gavin,
the Dremel Hunter Renfro, and I'm like, dude, like, we know why you're making the comparison, like, but come on.
But speaking of that, I mean, so like he did have, I think it was Aaron Young. I mean, he had him wide open. I was rewatching, like the linebacker was just like caught in between. So he just had, I mean, I guess he got spooked from the Wisconsin pick six because it was almost like almost had Young in the same like position that he threw the pick six in. He had him wide open that he could have just walked in touchdown. He basically chose the harder option to Washington, and lucky for Rutgers that Washington came down with a great catch.
Yeah, I think overall though this game was a coaching victory, and oftentimes you can't really say that, but I think Schiano and his staff did. They ran circles around the Michigan State staff. You could see the inexperience on their end. I mean, we point out a handful of things from the decision to make Michigan State repunt when there was an illegal formation on the punt, on the first attempted punt before the guy dropped the snap, and that resulted in a Rutgers touchdown. We could have gotten the ball at our own 40 there and started to drive, but I think Schiano knew that we needed to make splash play, whether that be a block punt, whether that be a big return. I don't think we're going to have a big return on Saturday, but I think he was more so thinking like, we can get another shot at this kid. For some reason, they have a backup long snapper in because their regular long snapper entered the portal. They're doing some kind of 2 punter rotation. So he knew that the special teams were kind of shaky. So I think that's what went into his thought process. It's raining. Like, really anything could happen on the snap. And sure enough, it did. I thought that sky punt thing, or the sky kick thing he was talking about, where Michigan State lined up like we were going to go for an onside kick. So they had about 10 guys up within 10 yards of the kicker. And so basically they called a play where they would just like shoot it right into the sky and have it land about the 20-yard line. You're hoping that somebody makes a bad decision on special teams. We got a perfect bounce for it too. So obviously they practiced that play a lot. The end of game stuff, I thought Schiano did really well as well, from, timing up the end sequence like perfectly to the second. And if you notice at the end of the game, he was really chewing out the refs to get the clock exactly right, because he calculated like, if I do this, I'll have exactly like 0 seconds left after third down. So getting that right was just like a masterclass. Typically, you don't really point out this kind of stuff for like a win, but I thought it was pretty clearly a coaching win on Saturday.
Yeah, no, I mean, no question about it. Special teams, like you said, the Thomas Amonkwa thing was just like perfect. Like there was no other way to put it. And sometimes you need a little luck on your side. Overall, between the fumbled punt and then the punt getting called back, and it all worked in Rutgers' favor, and it was actually like a legitimate coaching win. Like you could tell who was a veteran on one sideline and who was the newbie. And here's that play, by the way, Craig. You were right. Aaron Young was open, by the way.
Yeah, because we were watching. I was like, oh man, the linebacker was just like, you could tell he was like, do I go back or do I go up? And it was just like he just had him wide open.
Yeah. Yeah, he did make the more difficult throw, but it worked. So
yeah,
can't really complain there.
Yep.
But yeah, no, great game. And then someone said, I got to go back and look at this. Someone said Flynn Appleby, when they were down 24-6, used his right foot to punt.
Isn't he a right-footed punter?
That's what I thought too, but they said it was on our board this morning. I saw it down 24-6. Appleby running on an angle to his left, managed to punt the ball right-footed to get a 40-plus yard punt. Like that was incredible. I didn't know if he was. I honestly couldn't tell if he's a right foot or left foot.
I am fairly certain he's a right-footed punter.
That's why I didn't think it was crazy. But if he did use his opposite foot to punt, which is pretty wild in the first place.
So, I mean, in Australian rules football, that is fairly common for you to have to use both feet. So,
yeah, all right. Makes sense then. Not crazy.
Can you do them both at the same time? That would be interesting. That would be a punt.
That would be a hell of a punt. I don't know how the physics of that would work, but
listen, I didn't know the sky kick. That was unbelievable. I mean, that was just executed so perfectly. I was like, did Michigan State just screw up?
It is a unique punt.
Yeah,
like I found it is a unique punt, but I do think he's a righty. I think you're right, but this was definitely an interesting punt.
Yes, what he did was he rolled out to his left and he punted with his right.
That's what
so you're not kicking in the direction you're rolling out, which is, as you can see, looks very awkward and difficult.
Like it is. It's almost like a rugby type kick. It worked out.
Yeah, it was a punt.
Yeah, because especially if you're watching tape, most of the time you're going to be rolling out to the side that you're kicking from if you're rolling out.
Yeah.
So that's, in my eyes,
that makes sense.
That's an opportunity in the future where if the punt return coverage isn't great, so say he rolls out to his left, the design is to kick it, but Schiano, I don't know how much
trust you put in a punter.
Trust you put in your punter to make that decision, but say Schiano says if you have it, if it's like a 4th and short, say it's 4th and 6 from, I don't know, the 40-yard line, and he's got nothing but grass. We only saw that once with Corsack, and that wasn't even when Schiano was here, I believe.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I think against Nebraska, he had a run. Maybe that was 2019, but I think we should be doing more trick plays on special teams.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's funny that everyone, maybe not right now or in this season at least, but everyone used to hate on Schiano for getting rid of special teams coordinator and just putting it as an off the field coach, and it's obviously it's been working pretty well. I feel like now, mind you, kick returning, punt returning, that's a different issue in its own right.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
but
for sure.
I think we're going to see a new name back there this week. If I had to guess, I don't think you can trust Rochelle anymore this season.
Yeah.
No,
totally
yeah. After I was stunned they kept him out there after he muffed the punt.
First one.
Yeah, I was surprised he still took a couple more back there, but then they took him out. I saw Dremel back there, and then I forget who it was. He didn't have a last name on the back of his jersey.
It was Dremel.
Oh, it was Dremel. That's what I thought. Because
yeah.
I think I heard, didn't they slap a new jersey on him or something? Because he had the same number as somebody else.
Shaquan Loyal was out there too for kickoff return or kick return or punt return, and you got to have a different number, which they literally just hey, here, throw a number over. Because
they gave him 42, and he had no name on the back.
Well, it was 47, and we were we were in a group chat saying yo, Kier Price, hold on, what the fuck?
Hold up, wait a minute.
converted defensive tackle / tight end / defensive tackle again in spring / tight end again in fall is now the kick returner. Like, wait, what?
I'm just imagining after Rashad Rochelle muffed the punt, they probably just ran to the laundry room just to get that extra jersey, and that's probably why Rashad Rochelle was back there a couple more times. They're like, just find a freaking number, just get a different number.
They have him on the sideline. They do it all the time on kickoffs. Like, you won't see it most of the time, but you'll see it like some of the main blockers in like the middle of kick returns on kickoff returns. They have like random just jerseys on just because it's like, this guy's better than this guy. Throw him out there. I don't give a shit. Throw fucking 45 on him. I don't care. Go. Like, so
yeah, and those jerseys are not easy to get on and off pads too. So
I was thinking that too. Yeah,
and it's a jersey over a jersey. Like, it's even harder.
You just have to cut it off at that point.
Sorry, Adidas.
So, is there anything else regarding the game itself that you guys wanted to hit on before we start talking about something else?
There's one thing, and I keep pulling up new windows. I just think this is the coolest thing in the world, and this happens like sometimes around college football, but just seeing like a photo of Christian Dremel at like a Rutgers football camp back in, I don't even know how long ago this was. And then just seeing it side by side with like him actually like being super successful on the field. Like, I just think that's so cool. And it's pretty neat.
Now that we're pulling social media stuff up, I do want to call out somebody here. Rutgers Media on Instagram. Can you credit us if you're going to use all of our information for a big post? Because I literally, it's funny because I was texting Richie yesterday morning and going through like a bunch of PFF data, and I just sent him like 3 or 4 things I thought were tweet worthy, and Richie tweeted it out. And then this guy Rutgers Media posts something. It's like, Flip Dixon's the number 2 safety according to PFF in the FBS. Kyle Monungai is the number 1. He's the leading rusher in the Big Ten, and Rutgers leads the nation in tackling grade according to PFF. Literally, like a series of 3 tweets. If you look at the Rutgers Rival Twitter account, within an hour of each other, and then sure enough, this guy posts this tweet.
He even said like no one says per PFF college. I tweeted it because that's what it's technically. No one usually puts PFF college, and I tagged their account, and then he puts PFF college, and I'm like, dude, come on, like, what are we doing?
So it's totally cool if you want to share our stuff, but like, credit us, come on, man.
Not gonna lie, Mike. I thought you were going to start talking about Jack Mack.
No.
I don't give him attention.
I'm not giving him any more oxygen right now. But condolences to UConn.
What are they now?
Falling back into
17?
No, they're like 1-5 or something.
They won. Oh, okay. They won a game.
So 1-17.
They beat Rice. They beat JT Daniels, 5-star quarterback.
What a career that guy's had too.
Yeah, what a fall from grace.
Okay, so I wanted to talk about possible bowl destinations. I think there's 4 bowls that Rutgers fans should be keeping their eyes on. First is the SRS Distribution Las Vegas Bowl, which would be the Big Ten versus the Pac-12. That is on Saturday, December 23rd. You guessed it, it's in Las Vegas.
Very good.
The Quick Lane Bowl is on Tuesday, December 26th. That's Big Ten versus the MAC. That is in Detroit. That is where Rutgers played in 2014 in their first bowl as a Big Ten member. The Guaranteed Rate Bowl is also on the 26th. That's at Chase Field in Phoenix, Arizona. And the other is a bowl game Rutgers fans should be familiar with, the Bad Boy Mowers Pinstripe Bowl. That's Thursday, December 28th. That's at Yankee Stadium. I think those are probably the 4 main candidates. So the Guaranteed Rate Bowl is against the Big 12 also, and the Bad Boy Mowers Bowl would be against the ACC. Any games that really stick out for you guys that you'd like to go to more than another?
Anything that's not on Christmas or the day after Christmas. Like, I don't want to go to fucking Detroit. And it's like, hey, Merry Christmas. Have fun in Detroit. Like, no.
Yep.
Anywhere else.
No,
especially because the Quick Lane Bowl is at 2 p.m. the following day. So
it's not even like, oh, geez.
The Guaranteed Rate Bowl is at least at 9 p.m.
That's that. I mean, I like Phoenix, but again, I've been to Phoenix
or Eastern time.
That's Eastern time.
No, that's Eastern time. Oh, okay. I've been to Phoenix twice in the past like 18 months, and don't get me wrong, beautiful area. If you're gonna go, stay in Scottsdale. Screw Phoenix, like stay in Scottsdale. But I don't want to go again. I got my fill. I got my like 8 rounds of golf in. I'm done. Like I need somewhere else to go. So let's just make Vegas or make it easy and we're all done. We're all happy. It's like December 23rd, a little early Christmas present. Gamble the Christmas money on the kids, see if you can get them a nicer gift or not. Maybe coal, maybe nothing. But yeah, I don't know.
Well, I saw that ESPN had the Vegas Bowl against an interesting team. If you want to, against USC. Did I read that right, Richie? Mike? I mean, USC.
Yeah. That's I don't understand that one.
Richie and put up a graphic yesterday on the Rutgers Rivals Twitter, laying out the different projections after Week 8. The Action Network has this in the Bad Boy Mowers Bowl against NC State. So actually multiple predictions have that, so I'll just go through all of them. CBS Sports also has that same prediction, and Mark on ESPN also has that prediction. I don't know who Mark is.
It's the other ESPN guy. I don't know.
Okay.
Schlapbach.
Whatever
like that.
AS is, predicts us to be in
Athlon Sports.
Athlon Sports predicts us to be in the Bad Boy Mowers Bowl against Wake Forest, who would be a rematch of the bowl from 2021. College Football News has us playing West Virginia in the Guaranteed Rate Bowl, which would be a fun possible opportunity to get some revenge on a former Big East foe. And then at the aforementioned prediction, Rutgers versus USC in the Las Vegas Bowl.
That would be wild.
Honestly,
there's like a 0% chance of that happening, but it would be wild.
For convenience sake, playing in the Pinstripe Bowl would be pretty great. You're going to have 5 figures of Rutgers fans there. We've all been there before. It's being played on a Thursday afternoon, which kind of sucks. Thursday at 2:00, Thursday the 28th.
Yeah.
But Rutgers fans would show out for that, so that's one that I think is that's probably my 1A. My 1B would be Vegas, because I mean any excuse to go to Vegas is a good excuse for me.
Stop.
Yeah. And that's also on the 23rd, so it's not really interfering with holiday plans. The other two
might have to spend a week there, like.
Yeah, the other two are just too close to Christmas to make it really work out for a lot of people.
I will say my dream scenario still, and it's got to be, and we didn't mention it because it wasn't in the projections, but it is a possibility. The Duke Mayo Bowl. I need this bowl to happen for the sole fact that I need to see Greg Schiano get mayo poured out of a jug on him.
That is one of the more foul traditions in the bowl system. They also do it makes me shudder even think of this. They do a mayonnaise eating contest too, between 2 people from each fan base. Rutgers fans are losing that. You're not beating a person from south of the Mason-Dixon line in a mayonnaise eating contest. Those fuckers are basically got mayonnaise pumping through their veins.
Just
so foul.
Who was it last year? Who won it last year? Was it Maryland?
Has Duke ever played in it? I feel like that's just Duke in the Duke Mayo Bowl. I feel like that has to happen.
Well, yeah. See, I found video. Hold on. Imagine, just picture this with me. This is Greg after winning the Duke Mayo Bowl against who'd you say against? Just say hypothetically Duke. This is ACC school, I think. Look at this.
I don't think Schiano would let this happen, honestly.
That was a little lackluster one. That wasn't as good, but
I really don't see Schiano fucking with that.
No, not in the slightest.
No.
Especially because the man, we know this from when he got his contract. He got a pretty nice Taylor deal in his contract, and I can't imagine them being happy with them. I guess he's probably not gonna be wearing a suit. I'm an idiot. Ignore me.
They'd be like, we need somebody to take the Mayo thing, and be like, Kirk or Joe, get out there, please. I'm not doing it.
Yeah, they beat NC State last year, and there's a video of fans chugging Mayo jugs and Mayo bottles in the crowd. So NC State,
nope.
No, yeah, NC State fans. So
nope.
You are right. South of the Mason-Dixon might just be.
Yeah, that's a big nope for me. You could not.
I like mayonnaise.
You could not pay me to drink mayonnaise.
Not to chug it. No,
I like it. I like it conservatively spread through some tuna fish. I don't like it in a pint glass, chugging it back after a big victory.
Like if you gave me a couple scoops, I'd do it, but I wouldn't chug it.
There's
I'd probably throw up.
There's some weirdos out there like Will Levis fucking puts it in his coffee.
God.
That's
gross.
If
you could just like show me one clip and say, will this guy make it in the NFL? And it was just him mixing mayonnaise and coffee. It'd be like, nope, no chance. Career backup. And he's not even playing over Malik Willis. I don't know if you saw that.
Yeah, yesterday. It's kind of wild.
Might be pretty soon.
Sorry, I got to do it again. I'm on the videos today. I got this down to science.
Did the same one or
look at this?
Well, Levis. Mayonnaise.
That's a freak move, dude. Like you just have that on you?
Oh my god!
Look at that
thing.
Oh my god! He's like He's like Will Ferrell from The Elf. He has mayonnaise like syrup.
He just seems like the kind of kid who would like put pennies in his mouth as a kid just to gross people out. Because he also eats bananas without taking the skin off. The dude's a total freak.
Oh my god!
He's a total freak. You don't want to watch that. He literally took a video of him just like taking a banana and eating it, the entire thing on camera without peeling it.
Wow.
Ban him from the league.
Red flag.
Red
flag.
Wow. Yeah. Oh, I think his girlfriend left him too, right? After going viral on
his girlfriend was like the talk of the draft that year. She got so much airtime. She had like these like crazy like super blue eyes.
Yeah.
And she just kept looking over at the screen. I feel like they try and like get so much airtime in those situations.
One more before we move on to hoops. The Music City Bowl potentially.
Nashville, Tennessee? That's Nashville, right?
Yeah, I'd be all
cool
down.
That would be amazing. I think that's too. I think that's too high in the ranks for.
Yeah, you probably have to win 8 games for that.
Yeah,
at least.
Yeah, so that would be perfect because it's Saturday the 30th at 2 p.m. in Nashville. Never been to Nashville. Heard great things about it.
Yeah, drivable too, technically.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't know. It does sound like, if I had to guess, though, Pinstripe Bowl, and that makes the most sense. You'll get the biggest fans there too. Biggest fan turnout. Jeez, I can't talk today. Biggest fan turnout, probably for that game as well. And then we can all go to stands before and after the game, and get a couple beers in the behind the bleachers.
And complain about the Yankees and why they're not why they're not playing against the Phillies in the World Series.
December.
Sorry, we're only talking about teams that are alive still in the playoffs.
Excuse me, sir.
Cool. Great. Here we go. Oh,
what does that say?
It says,
is that a Mets shirt?
Jets. Anything you want to talk about?
I don't know why that's relevant. We're talking Red October here. We're not talking about teams that are 500.
Listen.
All right. Let's talk basketball recruiting.
Not pick at the end.
Let's talk basketball recruiting.
Real quick, 22nd in the TV ratings this week for Rutgers and Michigan State with 503,000. They didn't have to split it with anyone on BTN either.
I was going to say that's big, especially because it's BTN. That's not something that's on everybody's cable package across the country.
It's pretty big numbers for Rutgers.
So everybody's been clamoring for it, Rich. They want to know how this official visit weekend went for the basketball recruits. For those of you who are under a rock, who haven't been paying attention, who maybe don't even know Rutgers has a basketball team, Rutgers had the greatest collection of recruits on campus in Rutgers basketball history on this past Saturday. It had the number 2 recruit in the country in the class of 2024, who's a Rutgers commit in Ace Bailey. Had the number 3 recruit in the country, who's a somewhat Rutgers legacy, in Dylan Harper, Ron Harper Jr.'s younger brother. He is the number 3 ranked recruit in the class of 2024. We had the 101st ranked recruit in the class of 2024 who's committed to Rutgers, in Lathan Somerville. He's a big man. We had Bryce Dortch, who is a high 3-star, who probably should be ranked as a 4-star in the class. He's also committed. He's from Massachusetts. And we had Trey McKinney, who's the number 12 ranked recruit in the class of 2025, also on campus for an official visit. So 5 absolute studs on campus, 3 of them committed, 1 of them probably leaning towards Rutgers. Overall, Rich, how did the weekend go?
Went about as good as it could go. Ace Bailey and Dylan didn't get there until it's Friday night, Saturday morning, whatever you want to consider, like 1, 2 a.m., 2 in the morning. Ace, I don't know why he flew in late, but he did. Dylan was flying in from Vegas after the Wooten camp, so they didn't do anything Friday, really. Dortch and Somerville got there Friday. They did their photo shoot. That's why you see them together and not all four of them together. Although I was told there's a couple photos out there of the four of them together with the jerseys on somewhere. Ace and Dylan basically are like, if you didn't know any better, I was told, you would just think they're best friends and like they've known each other their entire lives. Mind you, they've only met each other, a couple years ago now at this point, maybe a year ago, 2 years ago. And they play at every single camp together for the most part too. They've really just hit it off. They are very close. It sounds like Ace had his recruiting hat on this weekend, kind of not pushing Dylan, but kind of saying like, this could be us, and kind of just recruiting him in general. The other guys obviously recruited him too. It's just they're not as close as Ace is to Dylan, and you kind of see that reflected in the photos, the TikTok dances, and this and that. They did all the good stuff. They checked out all the campuses. They did that go-karting thing I was saying in our post-game pod, or one of our pods. I forget which one now. That like world's largest indoor go-kart thing over in Edison now, supercharged. So that's pretty cool. It's a cool little thing too. That's down the street, which is nice. But yeah, it sounds like everything is just pointing towards Dylan still going to Rutgers. They're still a leader in the clubhouse. I think I'm as confident as ever in my future cast pick. I just don't know when it's going to happen. Could happen tomorrow, could happen today, could happen as soon as we're done with this podcast. More than likely, it's probably going to happen in a couple months, and I think he's going to wait it out till spring. But don't quote me on that, because the kid could decide tomorrow, and then that's it. Could sign in a month from now, maybe less than a month from now when they sign. So no one really knows what his plan is for decisions. No timeline, but everyone and their mother knows Harper is probably going to end up at Rutgers. So, yeah, that's all I got.
So, given that it seems so much like a foregone conclusion, what is driving this recruitment to stay open?
He likes attention, like every other kid. And once you commit, that's it. Like, all these coaches aren't going to be texting you, and social media is probably going to die down. Half these fans are going to unfollow you. Half the media personalities I know unfollow people too. And it's just like, oh, he's not going to Kansas anymore? See ya. I don't need you on my timeline. And next. It's kind of how it works. He just wants the attention. He also, the rumor is he wants to watch Rutgers play a couple games and see how they play and see how their new offense fits how he fits into their new offense. But in reality, you can make any offense fit for Dylan. Dylan's like the perfect mold of a basketball player that you can insert him into just about any type of offense and he's going to work. Like there's really no way around it. So
yeah, that just doesn't make sense to me, because he's going to be like the floor general. Like he's going to dictate the offense more than likely. So
like I can understand from the sense that
a little bit.
Rutgers has not exactly had the most modern offense under Steve Peichel, which is, in my opinion, I think Steve Peichel doesn't get enough credit for being a chameleon in terms of just like understanding his personnel, understanding what they're capable of, and then crafting game plans around that. So the game plans he had to craft around his lineups the last few years were basically like, we're really good defensively. We're kind of average on offense. Let's slow the game down. Let's, limit the number of possessions. Let's frustrate other offenses. Now he's got the level of athlete and the level of shooters where he can actually do something different, probably something he wants to do more than booty ball. So I think when these recruits see what his vision is for this current team, they're going to see, oh, I fit really well into this. Like I can mess with this, which is what I think basically, whether it be specific recruits or people around recruits, like telling them like, hey, like if you want to be this level pick, you're going to be in this, ancient offense, and it's going to be tough to really evaluate you. So you got to go somewhere that you could actually translate into an NBA game. And I think we'll see that this year. I think it's just, we haven't seen it yet because we haven't had the personnel. Now that we do, it's going to be a fun season. But you talked about being back on campus. We also have some news about when Ace Bailey might be back on campus and possibly a few more recruits.
forgot about that. So they're aiming to come back for that Georgetown game. That's going to be a big one too because it will never come out publicly, and I don't ever expect Pikel to badmouth somebody. But their head coach is a piece of shit. There's no way around it. He just straight up tampered with multiple players. We know he is a big reason why Cam entered the portal in the first place. Cam Spencer, for those of you who don't follow the basketball team, like we said before. But he just there's a little bit of bad blood there because I get it. Cooley, new team, new roster. He's got some money now at Georgetown, and there's 2 boosters there that want to make it known that they are funding this team basically. They are playing double GM right now. It's co-GMs, and they don't care. And Ed Cooley needed to add some players, and he said, hey, there's this kid from the DMV area that playing at Rutgers that might enter the portal if you give him enough money. Look at that. He entered the portal, and then all of a sudden he got more money from someone else. And then Miami's throwing him the biggest amount, but then he ended up taking a UConn bag / a chance at a ring, which makes sense. But yeah, there's a little bit of bad blood there. I don't know if he'll ever come out publicly, like I said, or no one's ever going to say it. He's just too much of a nice guy, Pike. And but we've seen the assistants call out people on Twitter, so maybe they'll call out Cooley.
Yeah,
but yeah, they're all coming back for that.
And that game is Wednesday, November 15th. It's about a week after the early signing period too. So at that point, Ace is going to be signed for Rutgers along with everyone else currently committed. So I was asking you about this earlier. Is there anything specific that's allowed to be acknowledged by Rutgers after you commit or after you sign? Like if he's on campus for a visit or he's at a game, are they allowed to put him on the Jumbotron with his name? Or
I don't believe so because I feel like if that was the case, everyone would just do it. Everyone would just throw their names up there and stuff. There's something weird about recruiting. People said, hey, you think Dylan will just get announced at halftime on the Jumbotron and we'll just give him the mic? And I'm like, no, he literally cannot do that. Illegally, that's a giant NCAA violation. Yeah. And you just showed it to 54,000 witnesses too. So, but no, they're not going to do it. Maybe 54,000 was generous there. But
you're talking about for a football game, not a basketball game, to be clear. Yeah.
Yes. But this past weekend, definitely generous. Anyway, but
didn't you say they're not allowed to give him ponchos either or something? It was raining. It was you can't even give him a poncho.
They can't. I mean, they get a jacket. You saw all the Rutgers jackets they got. I don't know how that works exactly. They can't go in the recruiting section, so they're just sitting in the rain. There's so many weird NCAA rules. Did they fucking ban photos from visits?
So stupid.
I don't. The NCAA sucks, but no, I don't think they'll do that. But I'm sure he'll hear the student section riot squad, probably our buddy Alex screaming Ace Bailey the entire game. Mm-hmm. You'll also probably you'll hear Pike talk about it because I feel like that's going to be a question almost every press conference after he signs. And it's Ace Bailey who's here today. What did you think about that? And he's like, oh, I love Ace. Ace.
I am really excited to hear what Pike thinks about Ace Bailey. Not that it's tough, but we've talked about him so much.
Yeah.
The staff obviously is not allowed to talk about him until they sign. Mm-hmm. I want to just hear his take on how high level of a talent he thinks Ace Bailey is, because it's one thing for us to say it, it's another for a professional coach to actually come out and talk about it.
Yeah, I'm curious what he's going to say too. I don't know what exactly, but it's going to be a lot of coach speak. But he'll still hype him up quite a bit. I feel like you have to. There's no way not to hype up the number 2 recruit in the country.
Yeah. Yep.
So.
I'm also the more I think about that season, the more I'm just this team could be so good. They keep the roster together. Mawat Mag, Derek Simpson, Antoine Woolfolk, Antonio Chol, Gavin Griffiths, Jim Michael Davis, Jeremiah Williams. There's going to be so much talent on that team. I'm just so excited.
Insane.
That's on top of the freshman class coming in.
Yeah. And just wait because you didn't even mention Woolfolk, and Woolfolk's gonna. How many people are? Oh, did you? I might have missed it then. People are gonna be surprised by him this year. He's gonna put up some decent stats.
Yeah, I'm excited to see him in this up tempo offense because we saw his ability to kind of handle the ball and push tempo at very brief times last year. That's not something you typically see out of a guy who's 6'9" and plays inside.
Yeah, totally different team this year. This offense is going to be fun, and fans get to see it on Saturday, technically.
Yeah,
Carnesecca.
Yep. For those of you who don't know what Richie's talking about, there's still tickets available to it. Rutgers is playing a scrimmage against St. John's at Carnesecca Arena in Queens. All the proceeds benefit the V Foundation. The game's at 2:00, so it does clash with the Rutgers Indiana game. But it's also not going to be broadcast anywhere. So if you want to go to the game, you can watch the football game on your phone through the first half. Tickets are still available. It's like I said, it's not going to be broadcast anywhere, unfortunately. So you're just going to have to hope you have a friend there, or, wait for Richie's recap of the game.
I'm working on something. We'll see if it will work or not. I'm not guaranteeing anything, but I would stay tuned to this YouTube feed that we got here, because I'm gonna see. I'm not gonna ask anyone. I'm just gonna do it. Not asking for permission, and if I get yelled at in the middle of the broadcast, I'm just gonna point the camera at the guy that's yelling at me, and then you guys can all ream him in the.
God.
Hopefully, we can get this live stream working. I'm not guaranteeing anything, but I'm gonna try.
We'll call it Richie Vision.
Oh my God. That's what our vision stands for, right?
That is actually.
There you go. See, it all comes together.
I can't imagine them having great Wi-Fi in Carnesecca.
Well, we'll see. It's a college campus. Maybe we'll get lucky.
It's dumb.
It is, but
yeah, but
we'll see.
Their dump.
It's their dump. Yeah. What about football recruiting? There was a fair amount of football recruits at the game as well. Obviously, the outcome was great, but just the general, conditions of the field, or just being stuck in the rain, isn't the most fun experience. But they're kids, so they probably found a way to have fun. Yeah,
they didn't care. They actually, a lot of kids actually spoke highly about the game just because it was such a crazy game to watch. Even if you didn't like Rutgers, just to watch that game and that comeback, it was incredible. I know a lot of my friends are big football fans, but they don't really watch Rutgers. But I'm getting texts left and right like, dude, oh my god, and I'm like, you guys, I didn't even know you had BTN. I didn't even know you don't. There's definitely no way you know what channel BTN is. But besides the point, a couple of new offers too. One I'm keeping a close eye on is tight end Andrew Olish, Southern Lehigh High School, in Center Valley, Pennsylvania. He only has another offer from I think he's got Akron, Liberty, and something else. And I think Rutgers is his first Power 5 offer. Yeah, correct. And UNLV. Weird offer there in UNLV, but besides the point. He's an interesting kid to keep an eye on. Rutgers is the first Power 5 to get involved with him. Spoke very highly about them afterwards. Said some good stuff about Coach Ulrich, Coach Schiano. He's 6'5", 210, so he's pretty good size already. He's only a junior, so he's got some time. Another name I'm keeping a close eye on is CJ Bell. CJ Bell is an intriguing cornerback prospect because he's unranked so far, but he has how many offers is this? 9 offers already, and this is 3 of them are Power 5s. He's got Rutgers, Boston College, Rutgers, Notre Dame, and Penn State. They're definitely he's going to be a big name prospect when it's all said and done. I think he's going to be a really big name prospect as long as he packs on the pounds. He's a little light right now at 6'2", 165. But again, junior. St. Thomas More, they have a great connection with. Their head coach is very fond of Schiano, very fond of Rutgers. So that's going to be another guy to keep an eye on. I think he actually came to camp, and that's when he got his offer this summer. I think it was one of the first camps or second camp. I forget exactly, but which one. But that's another name to keep an eye on. And then, of course, they had AJ Surace and Gabriel Winowich, Kenny Jones, all the commits that come every single week to campus. And that's just they say the same things. They're all solid. They're not going anywhere. The majority of this class seems pretty solid. There's a couple names to keep an eye on in terms of maybe decommitments, but you got to keep pushing. Benjamin Black, you got to watch out for. He took an NC State visit, got some new offers. Antonio White got a couple new offers recently. I think he got Kansas State. It was. He's got some SEC schools still pushing, but overall recruiting's on a pretty good swing right now. There's not a whole lot to do during the season, really, especially because classes fill up before the season even starts for the most part. So But yeah, no, it seemed like a good day. There's a couple other kids on there, like younger kids, 2027s, 2026s, but good day for Rutgers and good win for Rutgers.
Yeah, absolutely. No complaints about winning homecoming in the rain, the epic comeback, setting up a potential bowl game appearance. If we win on Saturday at Bloomington, the line opened at 4.5, which your boy snagged at 4.5, and it went up to 6.5, and it probably will hover there. If I had to guess, it might climb a little bit more.
Makes sense.
If Rutgers doesn't win that game, though, it becomes very tough to get 6. So you just want to take care of things on Saturday. The Riot Squad, as we previously talked about, is they raise money to go out there. They're going to be apparently doing a lot on social media for this game. They're going to do some vlogs, posting a lot of content from what I understand. So stay tuned for that because that should be fun to follow along with. Is there anything else that we missed on, guys, that you want to hit on before we sign off?
You can go
Did
first.
you talk
Craig,
about Trey McKinney, Richie? I don't know. Did I?
I don't think I did actually.
You talked.
Yeah, the other 5-star, the third 5-star that was on campus. Yeah, he sounds like he had a really good trip. Marlon Williamson and him kind of hit it off. He's close friends with Dylan Grant, who he plays AAU with at the Family AAU program. So there's the whole connection between the three of them right there. But it sounds like he had a really, really good visit. He has a couple more visits right now planned to TCU and Georgetown before the year's up. But I'd argue Rutgers is at, if not near the top currently. Sounds like they really won him over. He loved everything, loved the practice facility. We'll have a full article with him shortly from our basketball recruiting analyst, Zach. But yeah, no, it sounds like another really good visit for Rutgers. It sounds like they really just, I don't know if it's just Pike being such a genuine guy and nice guy, Rutgers winning on the basketball court, the brand new practice facility, combine it all together, and he got a pretty good recruiting staff.
Yeah, obviously the connection there with Smoke Williamson. Smoke was the primary recruiter for Dylan Grant, the primary recruiter for Jeremiah Williams. He's also the primary recruiter for Darius Acuff, 5-star kid. We'll be visiting in, I believe, February. And also high 4-star Dorian Stokes. Is that his name? Dorian
Jones.
Dorian Jones, I'm sorry. He is a top 40 kid out of Cleveland who will be visiting shortly as well.
What day was that Georgetown game?
November 15th.
Ah, never mind. The weekend before, November 10th, he'll be on campus.
Official visit?
Yes.
Yeah, so this is a ho-hum, top 35, top 40 kid coming on campus from, the Cleveland area. No big deal.
It happens.
Think of 5 years ago if we had a top 50 kid on campus for an official visit from outside the area, how much we'd be frothing at the mouth to talk about this guy. Not that it's like an indictment on him at all. It's just goes to show how much has changed in the basketball program. It went from Pike can't recruit to this kid's not a 4-star. Why are we recruiting him? So quick, like overnight. So that was a narrative amongst our fan base a year and a half ago that Rutgers Steve Peichel couldn't recruit. Insane. Anyway.
Jeez.
So that's all I got. Rich, you got anything else?
Yeah, I got one thing. I know you said it before, but I want to reiterate it. If you have not bought tickets to this St. John's thing, I suggest you buy them soon. There's a ton of them left. I know it's the same day as the football game, and that's the issue, I think, and that's why a lot of them are struggling to be sold, it seems like. But it is for a good cause. It goes to the V Foundation, Jimmy V, Rutgers. Okay, I don't have to tell you the rest. There's a connection there, clearly. But yeah, just if you want to go see this basketball team, that's one of your better shots. And also there's a ton of Princeton tickets left. I don't know what is going on, but that is the season opener. It's versus Princeton. I know it's West Jersey, but still, like, it's the season opener for Rutgers basketball for a potential tournament team in a new look offense, high powered offense, NBA center, NBA caliber wing, and Gavin Griffiths, and I mean, it's Princeton. It's a rivalry. It's one of the biggest rivalries in Rutgers basketball history.
The original college football game.
The OG college football game.
That's right.
Yeah. So yeah, I mean, go buy your tickets. I don't know, because there's not I don't think there's any out of conference tickets really left.
I think they're sold out
in
at this
terms
point.
of. Yeah, so it's like this is it's probably one of your only chances to see them if you don't have season tickets at this point.
Or
Unless
if you
you
don't
wanna
want to
pay
pay through
extra.
the nose, yeah.
Yeah. So, but if you do pay through the nose, use SeatGeek, Rutgers Rivals promo code $20 off.
Yeah,
That's the point.
if you don't have a SeatGeek account yet, one, what are you doing? Two, use the Rutgers Rivals promo code. You get $20 off your first purchase. You're going to need them because they're the exclusive reseller of Rutgers athletics sporting event tickets. So you got to use SeatGeek anyway. You might as well sign up with the Rutgers Rivals promo. Get yourself $20 off. Everybody wins. For me and the guys, this has been another edition of the Night Report podcast. Signing off.